Good afternoon, Mr. White.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you. Can you have a seat, please? Go ahead and make yourself comfortable. May I call you Jason, or would you prefer Mr. White?
Jason's fine.
All right, thank you. So I see that you've seen Dr. Love about considering some stress and anxiety.
Sure. Took on a role at work, a little bit more stressful. So that's kind of a lot more responsibility, and it's harder for me to get by with that. So when I come home at night, I have a couple of drinks.
And so typically, do you drink during the weekdays, or is this out of the norm for you?
No, I don't usually drink during the week, but I do come home occasionally, have one or two. Depending on how the day was, I end up having 3 to 5.
Okay, so let me elaborate a little bit and make sure I got this correct. So you normally don't drink, but due to the stress at work, you want to come home and have a few drinks to relax?
Well, it doesn't make me an alcoholic. I just like to unwind and have a few drinks.
Okay, and so what kind of alcohol do you prefer?
Usually hard liquor, mostly Crown.
All right, and so I can better understand this habit, is there a certain amount of alcohol you need in order to reach a certain desire?
No, usually don't measure it. I usually just have a few drinks, and when I wake up, I could probably see how much is left in the bottle, or maybe depending on how I feel that morning, how much I had to drink the night before.
Okay, and so what goes through your mind whenever you wake up in the morning and you see the amount of alcohol missing from that bottle?
There's no way that I drank that much. I may accuse my wife of dabbling in my bottle, but she's a sober, recovering alcoholic, so maybe that's more on me.
Okay. So let's go through this again. So you typically don't drink just due to the stress. You know, you're drinking more. Would you say that you kind of get a little bit of aggressive with her when you accuse her of drinking, even though she's sober? Or kind of give me an idea of how your demeanor or attitude is?
Yeah. She says I'm a little aggressive. I'm a little moody drunk, but for the most part, I don't recall being out of the way or abnormal.
Okay, I understand that. So I gave you a survey whenever you were waiting in the waiting room. Would you like to go ahead and go over that with me? If you'd like to hand that to me?
Guess I have to. I'm not sure what the survey's for. It's not like I'm an alcoholic or an addict or anything.
Alrighty. So as I go over this, I do see that there are a couple check marks for yes. Typically with this survey, if you answer 2 to 4 yeses, that puts you at a risk range of becoming an alcoholic. How does that make you feel?
Well, I guess with those numbers, it kind of concerns me a little bit. Didn't think I was kind of leaning that way.
Okay. I can understand a little bit of frustration you have just kind of hearing these results. So with that, let me understand a little bit more. Do you have a good idea of what you like to try as far as maybe seeing where we can go to kind of make a plan to put you at a lower risk? Or since you don't seem to think that you're an alcoholic, give me some feedback of what your ideas would be considering this survey.
Yeah, she's always on my back, so maybe it's be a good affirmation to maybe not drink so much. Maybe look at not taking on so much at work. Maybe keep my at a minimum with the employees, upper management, stuff like that. Try to leave that stuff at work, not bring it home.
Okay. So what I also would like to do that I try to do with my clients is do some pros and cons. So with that, give me some pros of you would get from not drinking, and then cons of the effects of if you continue to drink.
I wouldn't feel like shit so much in the next morning. Maybe able to be a little bit more productive through the day. Maybe be more attentive to my wife, my family.
Okay. So your family must be very important to you.
And they are very important.
Okay. So what are some cons?
Cons?
The negative effect of drinking.
Yeah. Probably have to say the fights, the disgruntled disagreements, the assumptions, costly.
So do you think you have more pros or more cons on that list?
Probably saying my cons add up a whole lot more.
Okay. Is there anything you would like to do to change that?
Yeah. Maybe try to cut back on that. Maybe do some counseling. Maybe try some AA, some meetings. Maybe even try counseling with my wife. Maybe we can find out if there's not something wrong there as well.
Well, I really like to hear that you kind of have a good positive attitude of possibly making this change. Because when you look at the cons, you see the effect that it has on your life and your relationship with your family. Would you like to kind of make a plan for the future to help with keeping this at bay?
Yeah, I think we can set something up.
Okay. I'm going to give you some suggestions and you kind of just give me your feedback on, if that would work for you or if you would like to try something else. What about meeting with me twice a week for an hour?
I think that might be a bit of a stretch, but I'd be willing to give it a shot.
Okay, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. What about doing some group sessions? Say once or twice a week, come in and you meet with the whole group. That way you won't feel excluded, like, you're the only one with the issue. You would be able to interact with others and kind of hear their stories.
I'm not sure if I'm quite comfortable with that aspect yet, but it might be something we can look into.
Okay. You mentioned about going to attend some AA meetings. If you were to do that, would you look into getting a sponsor and working the 12 steps?
I believe that would be a start, yes.
Okay. I really like to hear that as well. And then you mentioned doing some counseling with your wife. How many times a week would you want to do that? Or, do you really think she would be up for the counseling?
I think if it was to help our marriage and our relationship, to build on that, it would.
Okay. Do you think she's got some resentment towards you for you accusing her of, drinking some of your alcohol since she's in recovery?
Well, I'm not sure, but I would think so. But, not everyone that comes home and has a few drinks are an alcoholic. Everybody has a different outlook on it and able to consume alcohol differently. Not everyone's going to be like her and be considered an alcoholic or think of themselves as an alcoholic because they had a couple of drinks.
Okay. Now, do you have any alcoholism or addiction in your family?
None that I'm aware of. I guess on my mother's side.
Okay. Well, Jason, I'm so glad to hear that you're willing to make somewhat of a change, slowly but surely. I really do appreciate you coming in and talking with me. Hopefully, you could work a couple steps of, trying to decrease some of that stress and anxiety at work. But I would like to go ahead and set up, another appointment with you next week around Thursday at 4:30.
I'll get back with you on that, but
Okay.
could be a positive.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. White.
Thank you.
Have a good one.